Hi, and welcome to this week's auspicious Agile video blog. This is John Okoro. Happy New Year. This is our first video blog of the year. So this week we're going to take a look at the Scaled Agile Framework version 4, which was released recently this year, and Practitioner's perspective, my own perspective on it. I do train and coach on it on the 3.0 and the 4.0 versions now of the Scaled Agile Framework, and want to give some perspectives and things that I think are interesting and noteworthy taking a look at this new version. So SAFe comes in two different versions. Now it's expandable and collapsible into either 3-level or 4-level that you can use. So the 4-level version adds a value stream layer which did not exist before, and we'll take a look at some of my thoughts on that a little bit later. But there is a 3-level and a 4-level now of the SAFe framework in 4.0. And the 3-level, if you take a look at the picture here, as compared to the 3.0 version of SAFe, which is the previous version and quite popular, actually is very similar. So there's a lot of backwards compatibility. I think that gives a lot of comfort for people who've been trained on the 3.0 version of SAFe, and it makes it a lot less intimidating for them because they can just look and they can see really the parallels, and it looks pretty comfortable for them from perspective of being able to understand at least that 3-level version of SAFe now. Now, the 4.0 version of SAFe also focuses on both lean systems and software engineering, which is a change. There used to be two different branches of SAFe for this, but now all of it's together. I think that could be a little complex. There's a little confusing if you're used to just looking at the software piece, which a lot of people are. But I think it does also offer a lot of good new possibilities for firmware and for hardware base, whether you're working on just computer systems or you're working on cars or planes or consumer products. And of course, it also still supports the software development and lean and agile software development. So there is a little more to learn on that and those two being combined, particularly in the value stream area. But it also is pretty simple, especially if you look at the 3-level version of SAFe, just to apply it on your software. Now, let's take a look at that value stream level, which has been added. This is something that always existed within the SAFe framework, the concept of the value stream, at least in 3.0, but it's really elaborated on here a lot. There wasn't as much detail about what a value stream was. Used a lot here in the systems engineering context and doing solutions, and they also explicitly talk about a customer, which was not really explicitly talked about before in the framework. But the concept now, the value stream, really is explained much more clearly. I know a lot of times I would be teaching or talking to people about it. The concept was not clear for them, and we had to talk a lot about what did a value stream mean. So that's really cleared up a lot more here, so we get a better concept of what a value stream is. Next up, we get the concept of the enterprise being called out as well. Now, the enterprise is actually something that shows us, and I think it's a very small piece in the framework of the picture, but it shows us that we can have multiple implementations of SAFe, which I think is good to call out. So you could have 2 or 3 or 4 implementations of SAFe and of different portfolios and lining up with different areas of your business. So whether you're a small or a medium or a large enterprise, there's kind of a version of SAFe that might fit you, whether you use a 3-level or the 4-level, and whether you use multiple instances or one instance, you can kind of tailor it and fit it to your enterprise. And I think it's pretty nice that that's called out so that we can actually see that. Another concept that's included now on what's called the foundation layer is the communities of practice. Communities of practice are something that I remember reading an article by Mike Cohn on his blog about this, on Mountain Goat Software, when he talks about the concept and basically want to bring together a lot of people and working on a lot of different Agile teams or Scrum teams or Kanban teams here, and they all are using different tools and different concepts, maybe DevOps, testing, and we want to be able to share the best of that across the organization. Communities of practice let us do that. Now, the next thing we want to take a look at is that it's also called out at SAFe as a freely available knowledge base. And this is actually very valuable. I can't tell you, there's been quite a few conversations that I've had recently, and there's really been a lot of updates to the knowledge base of things like CapEx and OpEx and portfolio level concepts and communities of practice. And I've been able to share those concepts with people by just referring them to the SAFe website and letting them take a look at those concepts. So it's very valuable as an Agile practitioner and as a coach. Now, another concept that's added here in a lot more frequency than it has been in the past, we see, is Kanban. I'm a big fan of Kanban, and I think it's a very useful method to use. So what happens now is that not only do we have Kanban where we had the portfolio level before, but Kanban also gets included at the value stream level, which is new, of course, to SAFe 4.0. It's also included in the program level, so you have program Kanban as well, and at the team level. So you can have Kanban and Scrum teams working side by side as a part of the release train, as it's called, in SAFe. So Kanban really becomes a first-class citizen in the 4.0 version of the SAFe framework. So that's a little look at some of the things that I find interesting, noteworthy, and that I like. A lot of updates in 4.0 version of SAFe. Thanks for listening, and stay agile.